It is a great pleasure to host this panel. We are going to start off a little bit. I think our first topic, we're going to talk a little bit about AI, which I'm sure all of you have been talking about with your colleagues. It's a pretty big trend at Deloitte. It's one of our strategic growth offerings for the last couple of years. And so, Lesley, we could start with you. You've recently announced a big partnership with Google on improving both product and features and customer satisfaction. So maybe you could talk a little bit about Priceline's AI capabilities, what we're going to see soon, what we might see a little bit beyond tomorrow.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. We are, at Priceline, I would say that we are very kind of assertively and I don't necessarily say aggressively, but we are very open in bringing the potential of AI into our organization. So about a week and a half ago, we had a big announcement with Google that talked about how we're using their Vertex platform to power a bunch of different initiatives. The consumer-facing features are more in the realm of AI building really like on-the-fly and hyper-personalized content across all different messaging and communications platforms. We're also building, as is everyone else, an AI-supported chatbot, which I can talk a little bit more about, built on their platform. And we're doing more internal tools and processes to make our engineering and our product development much more agile, rapid, smarter, faster, etc., as well as internal kind of employee-facing AI applications that also just make the rest of our employee population more kind of self-sufficient. However, that's our kind of big tech partnership. We are also looking at AI from a more kind of smaller tech startup perspective. So there are tons of places, and I think that's one of the reasons that I'm here this week, tons of companies, platforms, et cetera, that are using AI to develop faster, more impactful, lo-fi, less risky, quicker to market, creative and messaging that we can deploy to consumers across the marketing landscape, and I think there's a huge potential there. We're using an AI vendor now to help us generate the first draft of press releases. So it really goes across the entire ecosystem, and I think the potential is huge. And what we're doing right now is really just about trying a whole bunch of stuff, testing, launching things, moving in and out of market as we learn. There's a big announcement coming for us in a couple weeks that I can't share more about, but keep your eye out for us.
I will have my AI news bot looking out for that. Michelle, so one of the things when we're talking about AI, I certainly want you to share some of the things that you're doing, but one of the things that you said when we talked last week was, today's marketing tactics are not tomorrow's marketing tactics, right? And there's a lot of change ahead. AI is a point of innovation. So could you share really two things? One is a little bit of how you're approaching AI at ETS, but also from a organizational, as a CMO, who you partner with in the organization, who's driving that innovation? Is it you? Is it, other folks? So if you could elaborate a little bit about your perspective on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So I probably should tell you what ETS is so that it puts it in context a little bit of what we're doing. It's educational testing services, and we really have a mission to provide advancement in education through assessments that are fair and equitable based on scientific research. So when we are thinking about AI in particular, we are also thinking about personalized solutions. And those personalized solutions are, really for lifelong learners to get insights about themselves and also about how they can progress on their learning journey. So AI, such as multimodal AI, for example, can really help when you're assessing skills because you're bringing in multiple forms of information. Might be video, might be how you write, might be your tone of voice or or other things like that when you're responding to different parts of an assessment. And then AI can help create those insights for learners to say and help personalize what's the next step of learning on your journey to do that. And I think that's really important because assessments today have been very focused on cognitive ability, and where we need to progress, I think, as a or how we can help humans progress on that learning journey is really help them with durable skills like collaboration or empathy or EQ and skills like that that will serve them, on their journey. So when you talk about partnerships then across the organization, my role is a little bit unique because I have all of the marketing functions, but I also have the product development team. And the product development team is highly digital solutions. And in fact, we have about a quarter of that organization as AI engineers. And we're developing our own AI to help with those insights and develop, these digital solutions. The biggest partner I think that we have is the chief innovation or the chief technical officer, right, or information officer in our company, and we are partners to help bring those technical systems and platforms together with our marketing, but also our products and innovation in a very seamless customer experience way. And when we look at the roadmap forward, there isn't a single thing that we're going to be doing separately, right? So that blurring of the line, I think, between marketing and technology is becoming more and more apparent.
Thank you. Lesley, how does it work at Priceline? Like we could talk about AI, like who's driving that forward? Is it marketing? Are you becoming, from a marketing perspective, we talk about like is the CMO the next chief data officer? So talk a little bit about how your organization is structured and how you drive technology innovation forward.
Yeah. So what I would start with our brand, and our brand is really, Priceline is known as the best travel deal makers in the world, and our purpose is to help everyone experience the moments that matter. So we are a platform. We are a travel marketplace. We are an enabler and an intermediary between all of the supply that's out in the travel world and the consumer, and helping make help them get to experience the moments that matter faster, with better deals, easier decision making, better planning tools. And so the innovation piece is actually a core value of ours that is spread across the entire organization. So we are a tech company. We are primarily, there's a huge amount of product and tech-based innovation that comes through, that engineering organization. But we also have to bring innovation and technology into driving demand, into bringing people into the top of the funnel, into carrying them all the way through that planning and booking journey. And so when we talk about things like AI or any other kind of innovation, it really happens everywhere. And for us, in the travel category, there's a tremendous amount, as you probably all experience in your personal lives, there's a tremendous amount of research and thinking and planning that goes in before you're ready to click book. And so we have the responsibility to help curate all of that stuff, all of that content, all of that inventory, and align it to your personal sensibilities, your needs, your desires, your family structure, your search habits, all of that, to help you get to book quicker and with more confidence and more trust in what you're booking. And so the technology piece is really just the thread that goes through everything that we're doing. So, you asked about our organization. As a leadership team, we sit side by side, and as things come in, like AI, we're all thinking about how we can take that and apply it and find the opportunities within our respective disciplines as experts.
So last question on AI, just curious on both of your perspectives. Microsoft did a study pretty recently, and it's like 70% of people consumers that use an app like Google Search or whatever it might be that is powered by AI have no idea that AI is part of that equation. So as you enhance your capabilities, does the fact that AI is powering it, is that part of the marketing message, or is that just behind the scenes? And maybe Michelle, you can start, and then we can go to Lesley.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that's going to be very dependent on your brand and what your point of difference is. And if you're an AI service-based company, yes, I would definitely market it. But I think more importantly, it's what is AI, what's the benefit that you're getting from AI, right? Either within the company or what the customer is feeling and seeing. So if that's faster response, or like especially in our business, after you take an assessment, if AI can help you get to a faster score and insights, then yeah, you might want to, and it's proprietary, like we definitely have. Then yeah, I would want to market that, because that's part of our overall proposition.
Makes sense. Lesley?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, and I think that, when do you disclose, when do you not? I think it depends, and probably most of us haven't figured that out yet. I think the most important point to me is that if you take what ChatGPT or whatever it is gives you and you just spit it back to your consumers, it's not going to do much for you, right? If you've tried it, you know that it gets a certain bit of the way, but it doesn't deliver yet, really fully formed solutions for anything, right? I'm not just talking about travel. So I think that the important thing is, what do you do with it? We take all of this technology that's out there, and then we add a layer where we're connecting data, we're stitching things together, we're building interfaces, we're building products and features and capabilities on top of that in a way that's, we're competitively different and gives consumers something that they can't find someplace else. It's powered by all of this machinery and infrastructure, but do we have to tell them, I don't know, that we're using machine learning to optimize the price point and the destinations and the copy that is showing up to make it more personalized for them so that they can experience the moments that matter at the best travel deal that they can? Like, I don't know. We have to figure that out. I think it depends on what it is.
And I know you wanted to move off of AI, but there was something I forgot to say earlier when that I was just thinking about as you were talking. That partnership I was talking about with our chief technology officer, it's really important not just externally for those innovations. It's also really important internally. So we're partnering to advance a few dimensions of AI across our employee base, and one is exactly what you're talking about, like literacy, just the basic literacy of what AI can do for you. And free people up from some mundane things so that you can do some higher order thinking and some higher order creative thinking, for example. But also, to help, put AI into our innovations, etc. And I think that it's, and then also how to use it responsibly, right? And so I think that has been, that's a really big initiative that we're partnering together on. And it will eventually, as people become more literate and we think through that responsibility, will help answer some of those questions of, so then what do we say about it? What do we use it for? Do we actually use it in our marketing or not?
Yeah, that makes total sense.
I would echo all of that.
So speaking of partners, Deloitte as a service organization, we have a lot of partners, a lot of technology partners, basically a massive ecosystem that drives our business forward. Both of your firms and both of what you manage from a marketing perspective are massive ecosystems, both from an educational standpoint and your partners there, Priceline, all of your travel partners. Lesley, we talked about one of the things you said is, in some ways, Priceline is a DSP for all travel needs to a consumer, although that's an industry term. But maybe you could share a little bit about how you work with your partners and your ecosystem to drive product innovation. And maybe an example of that would be great if you could share it.
Yeah, absolutely. I I use that analogy for people who are like in the ad tech world and try to understand what all of our supply side platforms and partners do. Is essentially we are a marketplace. We are an e-commerce marketplace that has, billions of signals and data points and inventory from our suppliers. So what consumers see is really just like the surface level of the water, and what's below is an ocean of an ecosystem. And I don't know how familiar any of you are with the travel industry, but we have direct supply with hotels, flights, rental cars, cruises, experiences. There are aggregators, there are other B2B suppliers, there's an entire industry of like DSP type things that collect all of this and distribute the price points. And it's kind of this incestuous world where there is rooms and flights and pricing and rates and all of that kind of floating around. Now, of course, I'm forgetting the genesis of your question.
Well, that's okay. No, innovation. Innovation.
Our job is essentially to create negotiate with our partners and develop the very best relationships so that we can get access to more inventory, more supply, better rates, and then create the rules on top of that connect consumers to different inventory at different price points. And that's where all the machine learning and all the engineering and tech happens. And then there's the product overlay, which is the experience, and then the marketing overlay, which is bringing everybody in and getting them through the funnel. So anyway, innovation happening everywhere.
Yes.
How's that? Oh, I think it was a partner question.
Well, no, it was part of
we have to have a partner ecosystem that services all of those people and makes sure that we get the supply into our system.
Yeah. Michelle, you're outside of your testing partners, you've partnered with Carnegie on some innovation, which is really interesting about maybe finding a little bit about next generation of future work and skill set. So maybe if you could elaborate a little bit on what you're doing there from an innovation standpoint with your partners.
Yeah, and I would echo everything that you just said, and even our ecosystems are so varied too. So I'll talk about Carnegie in just a second, but we have a B2C kind of part of our business with with teachers and the whole ecosystem around supporting teachers and students. Global mobility with international students wanting to understand their English proficiency so they could go to school in US, UK, Canada, Australia. And then we have a big B2B side of the business and a B2G, business to government side, and all the ecosystems of partners and everything that you need across those are immense, as I'm learning here, fairly new in the role. And so one of the areas that I think has been really important, and to your point about the future of learning, I think, is being more skill-based versus time-based. So we've partnered with, especially in higher education, which is part of one of the ecosystems we work with. And so back in like 1906, Carnegie Foundation invented the credit unit, and it's all about time. And that is whether you've learned something is not necessarily determined by time-based. It should be determined by skill-based. And so we're trying to change the currency of education into more of a skill-based assessment versus just time. And when you start to focus on skills, and by the way, I don't know if anyone saw, but I think there was a Forbes article where creativity, for example, is one of the top future skills that are going to be needed.
Even with AI.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Right. Well, and think about that really with AI, like great creative comes from insight, right?
Yep.
And insight has to be innately human. And so, who are the best people to understand human insights? It's us humans.
Yep.
So
Couldn't
I
agree
think
more.
AI has a great role in that, in maybe helping us collect data on it or helping execute different ideas or different executions off of the creative idea. But I really think that our role is to really get under the humanity of what we're doing. So, and that's a skill, right? And so I think what we're aiming to do is build skill-based learning, but also assessments along the way to help people have real credentials in a lot of different skill-based areas. Because to the other question that you had from a lifelong workplace standpoint, right? Today we have like 3 chapters in our lives. We have education, we have work, and then we retire. But as you all know, the longevity of life is only increasing. And those chapters are going to be much more than 3. We might have multiple careers, or we might have a retirement period and then another career just to sustain ourselves for that long. And so you're going to need lifelong learning and skill improvement and upskilling to be relevant, because yesterday's tactics aren't going to be tomorrow's tactics. And so that's going to be really important.
That's excellent. And maybe we stay on the topic of creativity. So Lesley, first of all, I never heard the term revenge travel before, which I love. But your latest campaign or creative angle is about happy places. And certainly Cannes is a very big happy place for me. I like coming here every year. So maybe you could talk a little bit like where did that idea come from? What was the insight that drove Happy Price for Happy Place, and where's that taking us?
Yeah, great question. Love to talk about our brand platform. So, we came out of the pandemic. Last year was actually the year of revenge travel, with particularly in the United States, the category just completely booming. And really, we wanted to really find a way. I've talked about our mission and our purpose around the best travel deal makers and helping people experience the moments that matter. And this feeling that people had missed out on so much, and we're back. Now, that's not a novel thought, because a lot of brands are talking about that. But we looked really deeply at what motivated people. And there's actually reams of academic research that shows that the happiest people on earth are people that travel, and people that travel more frequently. We also know that our audience is
Is there like a scale? So if you travel more, you're super
not
happy?
quite, but there are rigorous academic institutions publishing papers on this fact. And we also took a deep look at who our kind of core customer was and what the kind of psychographic drivers were. And these are people who are doers, they're goers, they're movers. I like to talk about them as kind of the embodiment of the American dream. They're hustlers, they have side gigs, they are people that have not peaked yet, and they use all of the deals to basically enable this way of life. So travel is part of who they are deeply, right? So we took all of that and coupled that with our best proposition, which is that we created this category. We are known as the best travel deal makers. And so we came up with go to your happy place for your happy price. When I describe this notion of happy place for people, it's not just a physical place. It's like this metaphysical feeling. It's a universally understood idea. And just the fact that, it's like coupled with our core brand proposition, it's kind of like this perfect amalgamation of a feeling, right? So that was kind of the core insight. And then we built this campaign, designed around helping people get to their happy place for their happy price. I mean, that's really core to what it is. We as a brand are also kind of a challenger, even though we are the OG of the category. We don't spend as much, and we can't outspend. So we had to kind of outsmart, and we designed an activation around actually building kind of a tangible benefit in for consumers. So instead of kind of blowing it all on the Super Bowl spot, we built an activation that delivers the deals to consumers. It's what we're known for, and it allowed for, I can talk more about this if anyone's interested, but allowed for more of kind of a tech integration that brought people into the actual consumer journey and could kind of experience that along the way.
So when, just a quick follow-up, so after people book their happy place for a happy price, is it part of the loyalty program? Do you continue to, suggest happy places in an email to consumers, your customers?
Yeah,
Is it
absolutely.
fully
I mean,
integrated?
that's part of the full funnel from prospecting through retention and bringing people along the journey and building them into more loyal customers. At the start, Happy Price was really kind of a messaging platform, and now, but that's just kind of the sequence of events, truthfully. Now it's really being pulled through the entire experience. So it is the crux of how we are thinking through consumer-facing product innovation, as well as how we talk to people in our customer support channels, and is also actually kind of traveling through to our employer brand as well. So it's everywhere.
What I love about that example is I think there's some sort of innate skill behind it too, like openness, curiosity. I feel like people who love to travel also are open to different cultures and learning about different things, and that has to make you more happy.
Totally. There's also research about how travel strengthens your relationships and makes you more open to the world, and there are all kinds of psychological benefits. But we really honed in on that one key thought because it was really just like a perfect expression of who we could be as a brand. I also will say that there is a regularness to everyday travel too, right? You just need to get home for Christmas. You want to go to your kid's college graduation. You just need to go to that college reunion. And happy place can be a different thing for everyone. It can be a physical place, but it also could just be being with your family. And we are here to help make that happen, even in the regular stuff. So it was really important to us that we found something that could speak to the everydayness of it all. When I talk about Priceline, the thing about Priceline is that we allow you to have a lifetime full of trips because you don't have to trade off, you don't have to make choices, you can do it all with us because we have all the options, but also because you can afford it and you can work it into your life. And so there's a realness to that I think is, part of our brand too, just trying to be accessible, approachable, friendly, pragmatic, and the enablement to all of that, to that lifestyle that you want to live.
That's awesome. I think we have time for one more question. Michelle, I'm going to start with you. You think about, there's been a lot of changes as far as, we talked about like how data is the new currency and insights drives marketing. There's a fair amount when you think about managing global brands. There's a lot of privacy regulations, different countries, different data can be collected, different consent. Maybe you could start, and then Lesley, you can give sort of your point of view. But if there's anything that you're driving in your organization that you want to share, like there's one thing, you want to share with other marketers to be like, hey, this is what you need to do or what you should be thinking about to protect your marketing organizations when it comes to, complying with data regulations or changes in the organization. What would be one thing that either you're focused on or folks from a global perspective should be thinking about?
I think I got birds flying at us. I think that there's a common theme that I've seen going from industry to industry. So now I've been in CPG and tech and financial services and now ed tech, and everyone seems to have the same problem with data, which is we all have these legacy systems that don't talk to each other. And some of those are set up within a market, and a lot of them are set up across markets, when we've been expanding or whatever, and nothing talks to each other. So it makes it incredibly hard to protect the data because it's in so many places, right? That's one. The second, and that's again where I think marketers have to partner with the tech organization, right? To kind of get that onto, if it's not one platform, then it's at least some sort of aggregation that helps enable that. And then I think the second is have it be useful, to marketers. A lot of times, whether I was in insurance or even now in ed tech, where if a customer goes to one product and registers for it or whatever, and then they go to another one, we don't know it's the same person. It was the same thing in insurance. You could have multiple policies, but we only knew them as policyholders, not as people.
Unifying the customer record, 100%.
Yeah. And then it's very hard for us as marketers to really understand and get insights of how do you help people, along the way, so that it's not just a transaction, but really have a relationship with them along a journey of their need.
Yep. Thank you. Lesley, do you have something to share on the topic?
Yeah, I think I would echo all of that. I think that, from a consumer perspective, people are willing to share as long as they feel like they're getting something of value. So you just constantly have to be questioning yourself, am I delivering value? Am I using all of this to deliver value to my consumer? So that's the first thing. Internally, I am very lucky because I joined right after a multi-year kind of replatforming of everything. So we have a lot stitched together that probably wasn't before, which is really helpful.
Yeah.
And this is maybe not less helpful, but I would just say, I am best friends with our legal team and our chief privacy officer. And as the tech keeps changing, you've got to think through what is the ethical application of these technologies or these data sets. We have an internal value where we say the right results the right way, and we really stick to it. So if something doesn't smell right, we don't do it. But things are changing so fast that we have to kind of you got to keep checking, particularly with, the AI example, where we're encouraging employees to embrace it and try it out in all of their disciplines to make us more productive, to make us more efficient, to add the human layer on top. But we also have to train everyone, don't give away our secrets, don't share PII. There are certain things that you can't put in there because it puts us all at risk. So it's a constant evolution.
Excellent. Well, it's been, thank you both. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and I want to thank Brand Innovators for the opportunity for us to speak. So on to the next. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.